Lord Rick of the Paranormal Ghost Society. I just wanted to point out a few landmarks. That, my friends, is Job's Sister Peak. And yes, I have stood on it. I have spent over 30 hours straight on that mountain. I've cliff climbed. A lot of good Bigfoot evidence in that area, which I figured if there's Bigfoot evidence in that part of the forest and mountains, why not here straight on? It could easily just travel through the mountains and go right back to Job's Peak. But as you can see, we're really on a steep embankment because we're actually climbing this mountain. We're climbing to the top of the peak. We're almost at the top. And I want to point out landmarks. That's Carson City, the state capital. That's Washoe Lake, Washoe City. And then those mountains you see across, the high desert mountains, is the Pine Nut mountain range. They actually have deer and bear. There is a high desert, but there's also a forest that runs in those canyons. And the Washoe people would gather the pine nuts in the cooler months, and then they would take this route through these canyons and go over to Lake Tahoe to hunt and fish and gather food in the warmer months. And this may have been one of the peaks that the tribe had traversed at or hunted deer at, some of these open meadows. And then if you look below, this whole canyon you see below is all Kings Canyon. And the Carson City flag is on the other side of that hill. It's this massive flag. It's not a flag that ripples in the wind. It's either painted on the rocks or something to that effect. And what we're going to do is when we get to the bottom of the canyon, see the road, we're going to hike up and follow the ridge line and dip down on the other side of Carson City and get some photos of the flag for my birthday. Anyways, what is that? Armor? Peace. Anyways, we're heading up. We're almost at the peak. This is what it feels like. Life at 9,000 feet, being at the top of the world. This is Lord Rick. We'll be back with some peak footage soon. And by the way, I also wanted to make note that we did find some tracks, like something had came downhill. And one of them, the width was twice the width of my foot and 14 inches. Something big stepped down. I'm not going to say it's Bigfoot, but I'm going to say it's possibly Bigfoot based on the size of the track and all the pressure and weight that was pushed down. It had a depth of like 6 inches, so whatever made it had to be something, you know, 3, 4, maybe even 600 to 800 pounds possibly. But you can see all these rock formations. That means we're almost at the top of the peak. And then we'll have lunch. And I actually found out we'll take this way down and then we'll cut to our right. And we should descend within an hour. We should be back on the ground where the canyon is, the bottom of the canyon. And then we can head to the Carson flag. But you can see this is the bend in Nevada right here, where Nevada and California, you have that bend. And so the Sierras, these are the Sierra Nevadas as well. And that peak is one of the highest in the Sierras, and someday I want to climb to the top of that peak. It will be a challenge. It stays snow-covered most of the year. Anyways, once again, this is your founder, Lord Rick, bringing you this great video scenic footage of the Kings Canyon area.